Okay, so I just pulled all the old chips. Here's all the new chips. And let's just pull a random one here. That one doesn't look too bad. But some of these, the pins were just falling off. But alright. So, I'm not going to touch anything else yet. Let's plug this into the board, plug this into the machine, let's see what happens. Okay, so I put the board in. I have it power on right now. And I get this 0 right here. The camera kind of makes it look like an 8, but it's a 0. So I think, so it makes me think of like Williams boards. I'm like, oh man, that's probably good, right? Well, I looked up in the manual, and 0 means error, audio board not ready. You see, there's a CPU board on the inside, and there's an audio board on the outside. And so, so evidently, I believe the CPU. Oh, and there's different conditions. If it's blinking, there's a little dot. That means it's watchdogging. If it's 0, it means audio board's not ready. If it's E, it means how do they word it, Kelly? If you get an E, and they called it like CPU trap or something like that. And I'm like, okay. So let's take a closer look at this audio board. By the way, I can hear chatter in the monitor, but it's just drawing a vertical line. When I turn the brightness up, I just get a vertical line. So, yeah, I'm getting kind of excited now. Let's try to mess with this audio board and see what we get. Okay, so right now, and I know the issue is on the soundboard. And I know there's some kind of self-test on this, but it's just easy enough to pull these out. This is two 2114 or 9114 RAM chips. And I'm just going to pull them out, test it, and put them back in with sockets. Because these chips fail often, I might as well do it. So, anyways, yeah, so I'm going to put a socket here where this RAM is. I'm going to put this in the RAM tester. We're going to see if they work. I'm going to go and check some buffers and things like that, and, you know, just do random stuff. There's a lot of buffers on this board, and we actually have every one of these buffers brand new. So, I don't know. I mean, should I go about it and test it and replace the bad one, or should I replace all brand new 2018 buffers everywhere? I don't know. We'll see. If I get desperate, I'm going to start replacing all kinds of shit. Now, yeah, I want this. This is my goal. You do realize this and Asterac is about 60% of the reason I drove out here to Tennessee. I want to get one of these working. I even told the guy I'm working for. I said, listen, just give me the weekend. I'm not even going to charge you. I want to do this. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend all weekend on this if I have to. But anyway, so I'm going to test these two RAM chips and let's see what happens. Okay, I've been sitting here for the last 2 days. Sitting here hunched over on this board with my logic probe and scope, and it's been a long journey. And it finally does work. I'm going to do the best of my abilities to explain to you how I fixed this. I was running on rabbit trails. I was doing the wrong things for a long time because I thought there was something else wrong. But let me show you the game working. You can see Cosmic Chasm. Okay, let me explain to you what I did. Okay, first off, when I plugged this whole board in, this LED readout said 0. Well, so I look into the manual, and the manual says if this reads out 0, you have a problem with the refresh processor. Now, the refresh processor on a Cinematronics Cosmic Chasm is basically the state machine on an Atari. Does that make sense? Do you know what that means? It controls the X position, the Y position,
how fast something's being drawn, how long the lines are, the colors. It also does on this specific, not like Atari, but on this machine, it does the controls. And it interfaces the CPU board to the audio board underneath. And anyway, so I was reading the instructions, and they had, and the manual is amazing. The manual gave me all kinds of test procedures to go over. So I'm thinking, okay, so refresh processor is on the CPU board, right? So what do? I'm testing the CPU board. And so what you have to do is this jumper that says test, you move this over to test. So I moved it over to test, and I moved this shunt. You ever see one of these? It's called a shunt. You can pull this out, and the manual says you can put a dip switch right here. But what I did is I pulled the shunt out and only attached the top, only shorted out the top pin. That's what the manual said to do. Anyways, so there's different signals it told me to read, and it said, and one of them was RBR. I don't know what RBR is short for, but it says check for RBR. So I checked for RBR, and RBR was low. And that's when the manual said, oh, your refresh processor is bad. Fix the refresh processor. So I spent an entire day poking around this refresh processor with a logic probe, and I mean, nothing was really, I couldn't find anything wrong. I did see some stuck things, but they were stuck because they were supposed to be stuck, and I couldn't trace anything back to a root cause. And I got desperate and I gave up. And this is what I do when I give up. Okay. You see all these chips that are socketed? I socketed these. I socketed these because these are pretty much everything that has to do with a refresh processor. And it didn't work. And so locally, there's a guy by the name of Jason Wilson. He owns an arcade called Game Galaxy. And, I posted on Facebook. I said, I'm having troubles with this damn thing. I don't know what to do. Can someone talk to me about the refresh processor? Does anyone understand how it works? Well, he says, he contacted me, and he says, hey, there's a Cosmic Chasm, a working Cosmic Chasm in my garage. You want to try your board in my machine? So I said, hell yeah. He ended up living about 5 minutes away. So I brought this board and the audio board underneath, and I said, okay, it doesn't work. It does exactly the same thing as my machine here. Is there a way I can separate these two boards and attach my CPU up to your audio board to see what happens? And he says, sure. Which is, I'm really grateful, by the way. Not everyone would trust someone to root around in their Cosmic Chasm. I mean, I don't know what they go for, but I'm thinking $6,000 to $8,000 or something. Something else. They're expensive. They're rare. I don't know what they go for. Hopefully, I can find one someday. But so what I did is I connected my CPU up to his audio, and the fucking game fired up and ran. So that told me that, okay, it's not the refresh processor. Guess what? It's the audio board. So this is what I did. And keep in mind, I didn't touch this at all. The only thing I did on this audio board at all was test the EEPROM, and I found out that EEPROM was good. By the way, I tested these EEPROMs. These RAM chips were all nasty. All the legs are falling off. So I had my boss order all new, and we just stuck all new. They were originally 4016. I put 6116s in its place. I mean, yeah, I suppose I could have chopped it all up and soldered wires to it and made it look like crap, or we could just stick new chips in, and it's gonna last years to come. Anyways, so without even thinking, I didn't even grab a probe. What I did was I just I desoldered these two 2114 RAM chips. I thought, you know what, that's a common thing that'll hold up a processor. Because now we're talking about, on this board, we're talking about the Z80 and its interface to the 68,000 processor. Okay, now at some point when this game turns on, there needs to be a handshake to, you know, so both of these things are on the same par. Does that make sense? So first thing I did was I pulled these two chips and I put them in the EEPROM test. I put them in the RAM tester and found out that both chips were bad. So I'm like, oh my god, I'm all excited. Let's plug this sucker in. Still doesn't work. Okay, so then I says, okay, well, I found one issue. This is good, you know. And so I pulled out the logic probe and immediately found the Z80 was bad. Okay, now, you know, this is such a simple repair. If only I wouldn't have been stuck by listening to the manual and its test procedures. I'd have been this far a long time ago. But anyways, so I replaced the Z80, and then I had a lot of it still wasn't working right. So I got the probe out, and I found some buffers. Like, what is this? This is 244 right here, right? That's 244 that connects directly to the used to be bad RAM was fried, and which makes sense. I mean, I can see how it would be if some of the inputs would be stuck all the time. I ended up replacing this chip, but I was incorrect. I didn't need to replace it. I should have looked at the pin out, because I saw a stuck pin, and you know, it was like 2 in the morning, or, you know, 1 in the morning. I was pretty tired. I'm like, stuck pin, replace it. It ended up being the enable pin. I mean, you know. But anyways, so long story short, there was 5 pins. Oh, by the way, I didn't even mention. I'm gonna flip this back. I didn't even mention that one of the EEPROMs was bad over here. So, anyways, it was damn near 3 days of work. And yeah, I'm sorry I didn't cover it all, but I was so pissed off and frustrated because, you know, this guy's paying me by the hour. Okay, I come down and I'm like, yeah, I could fix that board, and he's a good guy. I mean, you know, the guy I'm working for is a really good guy, but I don't want to disappoint anyone. And I'm working on this thing, and I'm thinking, this guy probably thinks I'm never going to get this working. And it happens. Sometimes there's boards you can't get fixed. And, you know, so I was feeling bad. And thank God for Jason Wilson, because if he didn't let me test this board in his cabinet, I'd been barking up the wrong tree for at least another day. Like, what the fuck? You know? But okay, so let's actually play this game, huh? Okay, the board is mounted in there on its metal sheet again. This is a speaker wire going up. At some point in its life, the speaker wire was cut. So I still haven't heard sounds from it yet. Hopefully that's working. I bet it will. Yeah, if you didn't know, Cosmic Chasm has a clear control panel. That's plexi or polycarbonate or acrylic. Pretty cool. So here in a few minutes, we see Kelly is cleaning all the buttons. She's, you know, taking the control panel apart and cleaning the buttons one at a time. Here's something interesting. That's a shaft encoder. Look at that, it even says shaft encoder. I always assumed that had an optical encoder, like a spinner knob, like on Tempest. I guess it don't. This acts like an Omega Race spinner, the early model Omega Race. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, give me a minute. We're gonna start it out here in a second. While we're waiting for Kelly to put the control panel back together, check out my new toy. This is a tag scan. There's an operator locally that is selling all of his crap, and he had this tag scan and a Star Castle, $250 for both. So $250, 2 games. Can't beat that. And the cage alone, the monitor alone. Anyways, so yeah, not bad. And then my boss actually bought it for me. So, very nice guy. We ready yet or what? Oh, also, I'm going to do an Asterac video. I'm gonna fix that Asterac and get that running 100%. But this isn't done. Just because the board works doesn't mean it's done. We need to totally redo that power supply and totally rebuild the soundboard. There's a lot of guts underneath this thing. Okay. But I'm not gonna bother doing that on camera. This is the end of the Cinematronics video, and you know I haven't put a video out for a while, and it's because this was the video, and it took so damn long, and whatever. This will be an exciting project also. I can't wait to get Asterac. Isn't that a beautiful cabinet? God, jealous, very jealous of that. Yeah, I already rebuilt the 6400. Oh, and we have yet to. I got it. This already works, so I'm just going to recap that monitor. You know, but pull the interlock, would you? You know, this right now is the first time I'm going to actually be able to play Cosmic Chasm ever. Oh, please work. Is it not going to work? Are you kidding me?
No, it's working.
Okay, God. I just don't want that to die. I really don't want that to die. I thought it took a shit. Okay. Let me coin up. Press start. I'm trying to play it one-handed. Oh, that's the, up here. I didn't press start hard enough.
Gotta clean all the connectors.
Okay, you fire.
Alright.
And I'll thrust. Alright, I'm controlling. I'm gonna have to play this with both hands. This is awesome. Yeah, it reminds me of tech scan there. Oh, if I slam into the wall, I die. Hold the camera. Okay. Game over. Let's do this again. I don't like the controls. It doesn't feel natural. Get it, the camera got on. Now what? What do I do? Oh, what? How do I get out? What am I doing wrong? Can I go through this wall?
I have no idea.
What the fuck? What am I supposed to do? Shoot it? Weird. I don't know if that's it or not. I think it just gives you more time. That's it. Oh my god, there we go. You shoot the wall, okay. Oh, I should use my shield. Oh, I should use my shield. Well, that's that. Stay tuned for the S-Track video. I really hope I really hope I can do a better video on that. I wanted to be in depth as possible on this, but time kind of ran away with me. I mean, it would have been a very long video of a very confused, pissed off Jason. But if you guys like this kind of stuff, please subscribe. Have a good one, guys.